Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. SBYGO here, again with another deck profile, this time with Jordan here. And what did you do over the weekend at Pasadena?
So over the weekend, I just decided to do side events. So I did the Winamat and the tag team. I was trying to get into more events. I missed the Yu-Gi-Oh! Day event because I was outside because there was some drama going on. But anyways, yeah, I was able to play at least two of the events. Went pretty much undefeated with this deck, and yeah, that's pretty much what I did. And this is the mat that I got from the Winamat.
Ooh, very nice, very nice.
Thanks.
And what were you playing exactly? Because I don't think we mentioned that just yet.
Oh yeah, sorry. I was playing Tearlaments Ishizu with pistols, and I did play a small other package. I'll reveal that after or with the video. So, but yeah, that's pretty much what I was able to do.
Anything else you want to say before we go ahead and get this started?
Sure. Shout out to TT500, my boys. Shout out to SBYGO because this is their channel. You should be watching.
It's the other boys?
Yeah, the other boys. And yeah, just pretty much it.
All right, let's go ahead and get this started then.
So, you know, start off real easy, Tearlaments, of course. I only played 2 Rhino Hearts in this build, mostly because I didn't really want to see it in my hands. I'd rather search it if I Kif Pavos or what have you.
So you didn't miss the third one?
No, I didn't miss the third one. Actually, it was really good at not having it in hand, and when it did come into hands, it was super crucial for some reason. Then standard build, 3 Hoffiness, 3 Sharon, 3 Merly. Those are all the regular Tearlaments.
Yeah.
Then we got 1 Crime, 2 Suliac, 1 Scream, because I actually rather want this card because of Ishizu in the graveyard, rather than actually like using it. Sometimes it comes up, sometimes it doesn't, but it's better in the graveyard to search out a trap like this or like this to set up your board.
Okay.
For for your opponent's turn. And of course 3 planets, because
you have to
play the planets.
Unless they're not, but then 3 is still good.
Right, yeah. So now for the spicy tech, we did play a beast.
Oh.
So sometimes when I was getting super polyed and I had beast in grave, I would just make Winda, and then my opponent would probably just lose, because like they can't really get over this. And the free draw is really nice.
Yeah.
Because you just really want to have hand power in this deck. Then I did play the Cartesia because before I was playing this version, it was the Bistle version, and this actually helped a lot just to have something engraved and add it back in hand. It helps also with Crime, because you do need something to discard, and if you just discard this card, it's free, because most likely your opponent's going to send some of your fusion monsters to the graveyard, and at the end phase you just add this back to your hand.
Interesting. Yeah. Interesting.
So this card was really good, and then it also helps with the Baron plays. Also, last thing
about
it, because it's a tuner, and it helps with their fusions. It helps when you get locked, which is really funny because it's just a random card that you just throw in just to make the deck 45. But
yeah.
Anyways, yeah. 2 Diviner, pretty standard, gets you into Baron and sets up your entire Ishizu plays and sometimes the Tearlaments plays if you haven't used all your names yet in that part of the game. And then sort of the Ishizu stuff, 3 Kaleido, 3 Madura.
Pretty standard for those 6, right?
Yeah, you have to play these because if you're not, you're kind of losing the game at that point. You just really need to.
The shuffle back is nice.
Yeah, and you got to play offense and defense sometimes, and sometimes when you have cards that you really want to see again, these cards really help out. Just doing exactly that, shuffling stuff back, and then shuffling on defense. You just shuffle stuff back from your opponent because the mirror match is just a long game, really complex, and you just need to make sure that you have the attrition. So playing 6 is pretty standard. Unless these cards get hit, you're gonna have to play at least 3.
Yeah.
So that one. Now for the hand traps. Some Ishizus are hand traps. I only play 1 Agido because, in my opinion, this was the worst one. I didn't really like seeing this in my hand. In fact, I actually usually would just dump this off of Foolish, and it would set up basically the combos. It would just be like mill 5. Most likely that 5 will actually get you a name or even another one like Kelback. Killback will get you another 5, and then you just keep going and going and going to figure, and then just make your board. It's almost automatic. Sometimes when you just have this and Foolish, or this just somehow gets to your hand, you can special summon if it's on your opponent's turn. And like, these cards are just ridiculous as hand traps.
Yeah, the Killback is insane just for the bounce.
Yeah, the bounce is really good because your opponent sometimes doesn't even recognize that you might have a Killback in your hand, and when the mill's happening, you just chain that as well, and then you just get rid of a problem when your opponent's playing the game. It's crazy, but that interaction helps a lot, and just because it's a hand trap just makes this thing even more broken, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Then we got the Bestials. We got 1 Sorneer, 1 Juris Worm, and 2 Magnamute. This was standard for me just because, you know, it's a DD Crow and a free body, and these cards just make your opponent stop playing the game, especially if you're playing like, what do you call it? Ishizu Tear as well.
Yeah.
These cards come up so often because they're just a free body, and then sometimes if you're actually playing the rank 6 engine, you make Beatrice, and these cards just keep going and keep going, and they just don't stop pretty much. Like they're just like a really good engine, and everybody I think should be playing these stills, at least a small package, just to compete with the meta that has to do with the graveyard and bashing and stuff.
Have you considered increasing your Bestial number?
I wanted to, but I felt like playing more cards was gonna get difficult with how I played the deck, because I wanted to see the names rather than having Bistles, because if I up the number here, that hires the possibility of me milling and missing. So I didn't want to miss on a mill ever, and I thought just a small package of this, since I'm playing technically, let's say 8 to 11 hand traps, like that's enough to at least have 1 disruption in hand and not disrupt the deck count and the milling abilities, because I never want to be able to mill out and not see a name.
Yeah.
And that's just basically how I was deciding to make it work in that opinion.
Okay, that makes sense.
This is something that apparently people weren't playing, and I play 3 Bell. Bell's super good this format. If you're not playing Bell, you're trying to like play your opponent's game, not play your own game, because this card basically just helps out in the mirror so much, and it helps out if any Bissell cards come out of nowhere, because, you know, obviously prevents from banishing. Great, like you definitely need that if you're playing tier, especially the fact that, you know, the combos just keep going. You need to stop it at some point so that you can actually make a board.
Yeah.
And this disruption in the end of a chain link is insane. Like, it's literally insane. You can't get mooted, you can't get Keldoed, like, you can't get Bistoled. Honestly, this card put in so much work, even though I'm only playing like 3 of this type. People were saying to play Skullmeister, this card just does so much more work.
Yeah, because even though that's a once per turn, it does kind of hit more than what Skullmeister does. Because you did mention it does have Bestial summons.
Yeah.
Which is honestly pretty good, because that saves yourself from a 2500 body on.
Right, like that's super crucial in this game, because like just having a body on board, especially if they have like a Druid Swarm that they're trying to summon, you definitely don't want that to hit the board.
Yeah.
Because that's a problem that you're gonna have to deal with, and you don't want to have to deal with more problems than your board's already gonna make, like against your opponent. So basically, this card's just really good. In general, I think this over Orange Light was the right choice, in my opinion. So yeah, that's it for the hand traps. Spells now. 1 Foolish, the Goo, and 1 Instant Fusion.
Kind of have to.
Yeah, if this card was at 3, I'd play 3. Like, this card's just way too good to not play. This is a 1-card combo, essentially. These 2 cards are 1-card combos. Insanity. But yeah, these 2 cards, of course. 2 Droplet. I was playing 3, but I decided 2 was a better thing, because I didn't really want to see this in hand as often. And when I had it at 3, I was actually seeing multiples of these in my hand, which I really didn't want to see. So I dropped it down to 2 just to lower the ratio a little bit. And then 2 tactics. So basically, same thing. I didn't want to see too many of these in my hand. Same thing with droplets. But you know, these cards came in clutch when they needed to, which was exactly what I needed. So
Because pretty much Tactics is a broken card this whole format.
Oh yeah, since everything's like a monster effect, like what are you gonna do? Everything, it's gonna resolve.
Yeah.
Or someone or your opponent has to like respond to it.
About
it. It's just so threatening because it's never your turn, our turn. This whole format's crazy. So yeah, basically that's the main deck. Moving on to extra deck, we got one Baron, one Elf, one Sprite, one Asa, because everyone's playing Ishizu, so
you can take a Keldo and a Mudora and then use that effect on your opponent's turn.
Right, and that part of it is so broken. Like you could just sit on this and it just like ends up becoming a threat because you took a Mudora out of their deck or out of their grave just to use it against them.
Or you can also take a Fender too.
Yeah, you can take a Fender. That's crazy. The fact that you could just because Earth is going to be more prominent coming soon. I think this card's going to be a staple soon. So. And then we got Dark because it's Dark.
Kind of have to.
Yeah, it's the best one, honestly. Then we got Dweller.
Best card for right now.
Best card, insane. Just puts in so much work. You can use it on your turn so that you can prevent your opponent from going off while you're trying to do your combos and stuff like that. Sometimes I make this first to ensure that like my opponent can't play on my turn. So like, Dweller's just insane. Redoer. Some people are cutting this out. Honestly, I think Redoer just puts in so much work because of the simple fact that it vanishes itself, and then like you can proc your Tearlament effects on your opponent's turn because that part's not a cost, unfortunately. It's crazy. So, this card just starts making fusions happen just by banishing itself, and then like you can play the game on your opponent's turn. It's just another enabler to play this game the way right now it's supposed to be played.
Plus you also get that knowledge too in case you get a good card from your opponent. So it's like, okay, I know what they're playing now, so
yeah. And like it's super crucial too when you're like, if you get like a spell, like that's really good just to have a draw, like a draw on your opponent's turn is insane. But yeah, this card's good. Baguska, I didn't summon this as often as I thought I was going to, but this card, sometimes if your opponent has just gassed out their hand, this card just puts in so much work. They just can't really do anything on their turn, and it buys you 3 turns. It's basically an in-deck Mystic Mine, or like not in-deck Mystic Mine, because this mine is in-deck. But I mean, a Mystic Mine with a body. It's crazy. So this deck or this card, just Bagusa, it's good. Play it. One Gruha because you want to draw, and also like it's it gets you into Baron if you do dump the Diviner, and then you just dump the other Diviner if you haven't dumped it yet, and then these two make Baron. It's crazy. And then you get a draw.
And also does a double damage for no reason at all.
And does double damage for some reason, yeah.
If you have the field spell, it's at 2,000, so for some reason it'll deal 4,000 for a direct attack.
Right.
But regardless, Garuha is a good card.
Yeah. It's such a good card. Yeah, this was, I almost always summoned it. Like, every game, just trying to make Baron or just linking it away to get into something just for the draw. Like, it's just so crucial sometimes. So, yeah, that. Winda, I already explained it. It's such a good card to play on your opponent's turn, especially when you have Beast Engrave. And it does, you're gonna see Beast, so just playing it just seems like a no-brainer to me. So that's why I decided like this was such a good choice to just put in last minute. Mud, because it's Mud. Dracosopelia, because sometimes you need. I hardly ever summon this now because of the Ishizu, but because on-field effects do still happen, like this card still works. And it's a 27 beat stick, like it's insane.
Also help you shuffle back like any of your extra deck back too. So like say you want to recycle a Garuda, you can do that.
Yeah, you can make Garuda again. Like it's versatile. So it's like it has a lot of purposes. And then standard one Clado Heart, one Rukalos, and one Kickless. And that's it for the extra deck. For the side, we decided to do 2 Lightning, 1 Raigeki. Honestly, this was interesting to me because whenever I decided to side these in, I always had to rethink my hand because I was either having a hand trap in my hand, so these ones would turn off. That's why I decided to put the Raigeki in.
Oh, okay.
Because, if I have something on board, obviously I can use this. but I needed to make sure that I can use it. So, you know, sometimes the monsters were the worst problem, sometimes the back were the worst problem. So then I would have to contemplate about what to really use. So that's why the 2-1 happened. But yeah, basically that's just pretty much my last choice decision on that one. 3 evenly because, you know, if anything, at the end of the day, it baits out of the gate. Like, they have to stop this or else they're just gonna get super punished. Turn 2, so yeah, good card. 3 cherries. I decided this in just in case, but I never resolved this card, which was really funny to me because I was just like, I just didn't see it. It's crazy. Like, I was hoping that I would see it against the mirror so hard, but this card never floated to my hand for some stupid reason, so I just lived in my deck when I decided to side it. 3 Dogwood because time, and this card's basically Maxi on, like, our version of Maxi. Either your opponent takes the challenge, or, you know, like, you just get free life points in time, and, you know, time is super crucial because combos just last freaking 10+ minutes these days, so there's just nothing you can do except drop this and then just hope your opponent can't make a big board that somehow can OTK you, even though you're gaining life points, which I don't know is gonna be possible, but yeah, basically needed card. I put it inside game 2 and 3 because these cards just ended up being the best on either player's turn, because either you're going to stop your opponent and you're going to get to play, or either your opponent's you know, not prepared to see this card during game 2. So super good. 2 Chaos Hunter because, you know, mirror match sucks, and banishing is definitely a thing in this format, so just summoning this card, make sure your opponent think really hard, because one other thing is also a 25 beat stick, like just like a Bistle. It's insane because you just have you literally have to figure out how you're gonna get out of this card, so that you can continue to play the game again and again. And oftentimes when this card hits the board and they don't have something 25 or higher to even summon, like this card just steals games. So I love seeing it. I saw it like at least 4 times over the weekend, and every time that this card resolved, like I was always in a winning position because my opponent had to figure out how to get this off the board. And 1 pink, because Pink Boy yeah, is the best one of, I guess, because I didn't have the Kashula, but you know, whatever. We in pink we trust.
That's pretty much Jordan's deck profile. As you can see, he made sure he didn't get his hands on the player the entire time. So he kept his cards all the way down here. So yeah, he just wanted to make sure you guys see Yuga and his crystal clearing. Anything else you want to say before we close this video?
No, not really. Just you know, I hope you gets better, and I hope you guys stay classy.
Yeah, that's all we can do is hope. All right, thank you. Until next time, peace.
Like, comment, subscribe, bro. Like, comment, subscribe.